and Isabel might be central to why. Using the sealed envelope as a key, Elena returned to the Valdez Carriage House archives and read her mother's last journal entries. There, between crossouts and careful handwriting, she found the truth in pieces. 2 daughters born one autumn, a hidden adoption, a trade to protect one child from a violent partner. Her father had signed papers under pressure. Someone had insisted one child leave the town for safety. Isabel had not simply vanished. She had been hidden, intentionally erased from public life to keep her safe. But safe from whom? The entries hinted at Victor Klein's reach and a list of men who'd wanted to swallow the Valdez holdings. Elena's grief boiled into a sharp intelligence. Isabel had been shielded. By whom? And if she'd been hidden, why did her name surface in ledgers? Was Isabel a code? A person? A cover for a trust? The answers blurred. Raphael produced a witness who swore he had seen Mara meeting with a woman at a ferry terminal a decade ago, a woman with a child. The woman had a scar on her wrist, and she had been given a different name. The witness hesitated and then added, "She looked like she knew how to vanish." Elena realized that Isabel might be alive under a new name, and that the rumors of a protective trade might have been the only thing keeping a child from a fate worse than poverty. If Isabel was alive, she could be the missing evidence or the missing danger. Elena felt the line between revenge and rescue collapse. She had to find Isabel. She had to know why her family had been broken. She had to choose whether to use the discovery as a weapon or as a bridge. Elena arranged one public theater, the annual Del Mar Gala, broadcast regionally, full of cameras and civic pride. She would confront them in front of the town. She coordinated with Raphael to live stream a set of documents and recordings she'd collected, the Klein ledgers, payment trails, and Daniel's recorded admission from the fundraiser months before. She planned to expose the theft, let the law take them, and walk away. An avenger who'd right what had been wronged. The ballroom glittered. Cameras hummed. Elena stepped to the podium with a quiet confidence and began to speak. She read invoices and names, displayed images, and let the town watch the slow unspooling. Daniel's face went from stunned to furious. Mara clutched at his sleeve as if to anchor herself. The crowd gasped. Authorities moved. Headlines wrote themselves in minutes. And then Elena reached the moment she'd kept secret. Isabel. She called a name she'd only whispered into old letters and announced that she had found proof that one of their own, the person who had vanished from Del Mar, had been protected not by the Kleins, but by the person who'd helped both families behind the scenes, Victor Klein. A murmur rolled through the room. At the exact moment Elena intended the town to see Daniel and Mara fall, Raphael's feed flashed a message he hadn't expected. A video from an anonymous account. It showed, in grainy footage recorded years ago, Elena's father handing an infant into a car and facing a man with a Klein council ring. The man wasn't Victor. He was Raphael himself, only younger and with different hair in the footage. The video shifted frames and added a voiceover. When you hunt monsters, remember, some monsters taught you how to survive. The account tagged a name Elena had never connected with Raphael. The crowd watched as the video revealed that Raphael Cruz was the child who'd once been hidden, raised under different names because his birth family had been tied to the Kleins and the Valdezes in ways nobody in the room understood. Raphael's eyes found Elena. He was the one she'd fallen toward, a truth seeker. But the footage revealed something more. Raphael's family had been placed with the very people that benefited from the Klein trades. He had been both protector and instrument, sent into Del Mar to watch, to reveal, to accelerate the moment when the houses of Del Mar would crack. The broadcast split. Raphael, stunned, reached for Elena and whispered, "I didn't know how deep it ran." Elena realized then how neatly she had walked into a net where the hunter and hunted had blurred. Raphael's reporter's badge had been a door. His childhood had given him an inside track. She had loved a man who carried family complicity like a wound. But the final layer came seconds later when an encrypted file automatically opened in the feed. It contained one last document, a notarized affidavit signed by Isabel, revealed now not as a child but as a woman who had changed her name years ago and chosen